Gavius Messala is an incredible damage dealer in this game, who also has an insane amount of armor, and can effectively tank, but I think works really well when you make him be the damage dealer. So let's go over my Messala build. Now, again, Messala has a huge pike. Now, the best ability, in my opinion, Ghost Attack. Select an enemy within range, then a tile adjacent to it. Teleports to select a tile and deals 60% weapon damage to a selected enemy. Now 60% might sound like a debuff, but you can teleport behind them and do a backstab, and that negates that 60%, or that loss of 40% I should say. Now once you can take Ghost Attack, make sure you take Ghost Attack's range increased by 2 tiles, amazing, it means you can teleport further, and take the cooldown reduction, because what I found was because of the AP cost, you have 3 here, and 4 with Strike, you can Ghost Attack and do a strike afterwards, and effectively do 2 attacks in one turn, sometimes even 3 depending on how much you've reserved, and those 3 attacks in one round could be devastating. So Ghost Attack is really worth investing, especially early on. I really wish I took it early on, because being able to teleport constantly around the battlefield and backstab and then just slay people, incredible. Now once you've taken them, I would buff the Ghost Attack and Phantom Pain, 50% weapon damage for Ghost Attack, and causes chill. Take these after you've taken these 2 and your Ghost Attack is rounded out and is going to be a huge benefit. Now, after you have done that, I would focus on your pure melee damage. Now you start with Strike obviously, but 15% weapon damage for Strike with your Strong Grip. Pair that with Open Wounds. Strike causes bleeding. Now we have Mento, we have Messala, and we have Remus, who can all cause bleeding. Amazing way of spreading bleed around the battlefield, and a nice way of buffing up your Strike. So this should bring you to around level 5 or 6. Once this is done, you want to go over here, and you want to take Shredder. 5% armor breaking, and causes weakness. Again, nice way of just debuffing the enemy. And once you've buffed out your damage, so you're going to take Ghost Strike, that's 2. You're going to take these 2, which is another 2, and these 2 here, that's 3 levels, and then 4 and 5. We're going to focus on armor, because Messala can take huge armor, which means what I would do is I would throw him up the battlefield with Ghost Attack, and let him stand there and just smack people further up, and he could kind of tank in a way, but it was a nice way of just having him up the battlefield, and sort of like taking out the ranged enemies, and not really worrying about him dying. Now how do we buff up his armor? I'll show you. You're going to start with Iron Skinned. Armor is increased by 6. Phenomenal. Amount is increased by 1 for every 3 levels, so bear that in mind. Once you take Iron Skin, we're going to come down here. We're going to take the Dodge, which is 2 AP. But then, we're going to take Hardened Armor, which reduces our armor loss. Once you've taken these 2, we're going to come back to Iron Skin, and we're going to take Extra Vitality, and we're going to take the Regen Vitality. So we now have Mento, Messala, and Nerva who can all regen their own health. Amazing. We've got extra armor, extra health, we regen, and we deal huge damage. Now once you've buffed up your armor in this order, so again, Iron Skinned, Dodge, Hardened Armor, and then Ruthlessness and Extra Vitality, we can go through the rest of our passives. We're going to take Armor, so here it loses 1 less AP from heavy armor sigils. Strength, we deal 10% more weapon damage. And adjacent enemies start the turn with -1 AP. Really nice way of just reducing them from being able to hit us. Now, once all our passives are run out, Rage. Gain 10% stackable weapon damage for 2 turns after every kill. Again, we Ghost Attack up, and we start picking off archers. And this is where Rage comes in really good, because you kill one, you move to the next. 10% extra damage, and you can buff this too. For example, while outnumbered, hero starts turn with +1 AP. Now, you might not want to take this because he might not find himself outnumbered too much, but if you have a spare ability point, I would put it into this. It did help sometimes. Prepared, 50% weapon damage for the first attack in the encounter. Huge, because if you pair this with Ghost Attack, that 40% is completely nullified and negated, especially with a backstab, especially causing bleed. And I would pair Prepared when you take this ability with Rage. 5% bonus weapon damage for Rage. So that's instantly an extra huge amount of damage just for killing enemies. You can't say no to that. Once you've taken this, pull the target closest to the closest adjacent tile. Now this is basically like Scorpion. You throw a little dagger out and you pull an enemy towards you. Once you take this, you have to take come back here, because the enemy will arrive to you with their back to you. And what does that mean? More backstabs. Amazing way, if you're going to pull an enemy towards you, you might as well have them not facing you so you deal even more damage. And then once you've done all that, I would then come up here and I'd round out your strike. 15% weapon damage for strike. Again, strike causes bleeding. We've got the armor breaking, and we've got the weakness. And then you've got a few other things you could do. You have your crippling blow. It wasn't too helpful honestly, but the AP cost being so low did mean you could use it, but I would just reserve your AP and then do an extra strike or a ghost attack, that type of thing. And reach attack. Do 150% weapon damage to an enemy 2 tiles away. This only really coming in handy if you didn't have enough AP to run to an enemy and then swing. Very little time did this come in helpful, to be honest, because we had ghost attack and because we could position ourselves in such a way, you can really negate this. So honestly, once you've got your ghost attack, once you've got your iron skinned and your dodge and your hardened armor, and then you've got your extra vitality and your ruthlessness, and you've buffed your strike up, everything else you can kind of take whatever. There's no right or wrong answer in my opinion. Now if we look at armors, reflects 3 damage to melee attackers, amazing, because we're always in melee, because we have no ranged attacks, so anyone that hits us gets hit back. It also buffed our bleeding, plus 1 turn for bleeding duration and minus 2 turns duration for incoming bleeding. So it means we can tank bleeding better, and we deal it out better. And for a weapon, we gain 2 movement AP for each kill with a melee skill. Again, we only have melee skills, so we kill someone, we move further. Plus 2% minimum weapon damage, not maximum, minimum, and that was what was key, and plus 3 damage against bleeding units. And when we have 3 characters that dish out bleeding, that's basically 3 damage extra every turn. Amazing. So again, with Messala, focus on your ghost attack, buff up your armor, your dodging ability, your health, and then focus on your actual damage per se, because you can negate your lack of damage through the use of ghost attack and backstabbing, and really for the early levels focus on just tanking abilities alongside Remus, while Drukus and Mento and Nerva and Albina deal the damage. So that is my Gavius Messala build. If you enjoyed, please let me know. If you have, drop the video a like. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you would have done differently, any skills or equipment that you use different in your playthrough that I haven't used in mine. If you have any questions, drop them below. I'll do my best to answer them. Please subscribe to the channel, it helps me amazingly, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.